The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 4 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 3 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 2 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 1 minute. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 30 seconds. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
One mic.
I'm back. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live.
Ain't no goddamn tape.
Interactive and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky. He's real loudmouth. He's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
All right, here we go. Welcome back from the weekend. Welcome into the One Mic with Big Mike show. I, of course, am your host for the evening, Big Mike, being heard live right now, as I am every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock on Spreaker, as well as on the Spreaker app. So make sure if you don't have it, you head on over to your app store and get that joint. Spreaker is how it's spelled, like speaker, but put an R in between the P and the E. You can also hear the show live on TuneIn, and you can watch the show. Whatever that consists of, me basically just sitting here in front of a microphone, but you can check it out on my Facebook page at the numeral 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE, at One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook. Make sure you like the page while you're there. And also, make sure you check me out on Twitter and Instagram as well. Use the same handle. As far as the show goes tonight, if you want to be involved in it, get your comments off, get your criticisms off, ask your questions or whatever you want to do, you can do so in a variety of ways. One, by texting me at 404-902-8104. I had some problems with the text line on Friday. Some situations with my Wi-Fi in the crib. There's this wireless printer that can, I guess, connect Wi-Fi, and the phone automatically connected to that, and a bunch of ridiculousness. And no one could text me for probably the greater part of last week, but everything is straightened out now. So 404-902-8104 if you want to text the show. You can also leave anything you want to say to me under my live streaming video here on Facebook. Once again, it's at One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook. Or I'd prefer you guys head on over to Spreaker, sign up for your free Spreaker accounts, and then click on that little heart or the little thought bubble icon that you see on the streaming player to get you inside my live and interactive chat room where you guys can converse amongst yourselves. You can have a show outside the show amongst yourselves. You can also talk back and forth with me, and whenever I do have guests, you can relay things through me to my guests, things of that nature. Speaking of guests, none tonight, but since that's the case, at the bottom of the hour, I'll do it like I do every show at either 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 8 o'clock at the 30-minute mark or at the top of the second hour for those of you who listen on demand. I'll take you guys back in time, give you guys a little history lesson with my feature that I call On This Day. I'll give you guys some, factoids and tidbits on things that happened on this particular day in sports. My bad. That shouldn't be a thing. What just happened there, that should have happened. And as far as content for today, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Football, NFL football, college football. It seems like a lot of y'all who like what y'all seeing out of Lonzo Ball. He gave y'all an opportunity to stick some things in people's faces, appropriate things in people's faces. So I'll get into that as well. Also, I want to talk about every day seems like I have a Kaepernick alert, and I still haven't created a sounder for it. I thought it was going to, at some point, mellow out a little bit, but it only seems to be ramping up. But yeah, I got some interesting commentary to give you guys on my man Colin Kaepernick. I got some other NBA things I want to get off as well. Some things that I noticed in the world of the NFL yesterday, especially here in the city of Atlanta, where these people down here, they never let you get tired, man, when it comes to their favorite team. They never let, folks like me who like to put things into perspective, they never give us a break, man. And it's funny and entertaining to me. So I'll give you guys some insight on what I'm talking about. And, of course, what happened on Saturday. If you guys were somewhere under a rock somewhere and didn't get a chance to watch any college football on Saturday, there were some interesting things that happened on Saturday that's going to, that in fact, has me thinking about college football and and the way things are constructed on the field. Off the field, they're a mess, with the whole unpaid labor thing, but whatever. But on the field, they've got the magic formula as it pertains to the interest level in their sport, in the regular season of their sport, which really, and quite frankly, their regular season is a playoff. I mean, the whole thing from beginning to, it's a sort of a playoff. In some people's cases, it's a double elimination playoff. For a lot of people, it's single elimination. So we'll get into that as well. I want to start with, I actually want to start the show with Colin Kaepernick, though, today. Got up this morning. First thing I read this morning, Colin Kaepernick was named GQ Citizen of the Year. So shout out to him for that, man. I'll maintain something that I said a while ago, that the NFL, they missed an opportunity with this thing, man. They could have spun this thing the same way they spun head injuries and making the sport more safe and all this kind of ridiculousness, which we'll get into some of those things as well as the show moves on as well, as it pertains to things that happened over the weekend, starting on Thursday. But they missed an opportunity with this. This guy, like, people with actual living brain cells can see what happened with Colin Kaepernick as something that was in a lot of ways needed. Not the NFL, not them. They did a Trump, right? But in this case, well, in the case of y'all president, he plays to a minority base. They playing to their majority base. They're, what I said was 83% white constituency, but they're idiots. So you could have spun this in a very, very positive way, not only for just people, but for your league as well. And they missed the boat on it. And now, in a lot of ways, they're facing the backlash because of it. Kevin Durant, by the way, same thing. I guess they got a couple of different covers for this GQ situation. And KD, in the world of sports, was named the champion of the year, after winning his first championship, becoming NBA Finals MVP. And around the Kaepernick conversation, this happened this weekend. This weekend was Veterans Day weekend. The 11th day of every November. I just realized that was a thing. I knew Veterans Day was a thing, but I didn't know it was on 11/11. Didn't take the time to go and figure out why it was on that particular day. But the 11th day of November is Veterans Day. So since it landed on a Saturday today, people did stuff on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And in the NFL, with all the anthem protests, only 3 players knelt or didn't stand, I guess, because guys like Marshawn and Michael Bennett, they actually sat. They didn't kneel. 3 players. Eric Reed, Marquise Goodwin, who, by the way, man, lost his kid. I read it. I'm guessing it was a stillbirth from what I read. It says Goodwin and his wife had lost their baby son earlier due to complications during the pregnancy. So I'm assuming that means it was a stillbirth. So that's tough for him. He played football on Sunday, man, with all that going on. But he knelt. He's one of the guys who knelt. And also Olivier Vernon, who came back from injury, he knelt as well. And it's one of those things, man, that I don't think the guys who stood don't understand how in doing so is feeding a stupid beast, right? Because if your whole contention is that it's not about flag, it's not about patriotism, it's not about the soldiers or the veterans, well, then nothing should change then. Nothing should change. Like if your contention is that song and that flag has nothing to do with the military, nothing should change. Guys like Eric Reed and guys like Marquise Goodwin and Olivier Vernon, I think they get it. They understand like where this thing is at, why it's where it's at. And it's not about all the other stuff, about all the name calling, the prisoners and all that kind of stuff. It's not about any of that. And it's definitely not about flags and racist songs. Not at all. I want to give you guys a couple of little tidbits on what's in this Colin Kaepernick article. I read it today, or not the article, but the way they did it. They had people around Colin Kaepernick actually speak, and I guess they spoke to him too. And I guess the parts of him speaking will be in the magazine article. But in the previews that they put out, kind of the way they did it. They spoke to him, and then they spoke to other people who know him, he's not dead or anything, who know him, and to get their perspective on it. They start off by saying the reason that Kaepernick wanted to do this particular thing because he wanted to reclaim the narrative of what he began protesting about. Of course, it's been hijacked by y'all orange president, these owners and all these folks, and he just felt the need to reiterate and clarify for the people who were either just being normally ignorant or willfully ignorant. People criticize him, Jason Whitlock, and a lot of these guys in the media. He needs to talk. He needs to do this. I heard Chris Mortensen today say that he needs to talk about football so people know he really wants to play football. Come on, B. Like, y'all didn't go ask Jeremy Johnson or whoever the hell the dude that just signed with the y'all didn't go ask him if he wanted to play. Like, Jay Cutler actually did not want to play. His wifey had to convince him to go back to play for the Dolphins. They playing tonight, Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers. So no one was like, hey, man, you got to convince us you really want to play to these guys. But I guess the rules are different when you stand up for black people, right? When you do that, you've got to prove that you can do both things at the same time. Like Eric Reed, like Olivier Vernon, you know what I mean? Like Marquise Goodwin. Like the excuses, man, that are coming from so many, especially old white guys. It's astonishing and it's amazing that they actually say these things with straight faces. You know what I mean? Like they practice them in the mirror before they get on TV and say this ridiculous garbage. The question is asked, why talk now? You know, why is he breaking his silence now when your detractors will only, and this is him saying as a matter of fact, when your detractors will only twist your words and use them against you. Why speak now when silence has done so much? So like everything he's done from the very, very beginning, he understands that like he has strategically done everything and thoughtfully done everything that he's done from the moment he decided that he was going to sit down. To me, has always had the right answer. And he said it in a much better fashion than I would have, with no emotion, giving people facts. Like that one time that dude, that Cuban reporter was all emotional and coming at him. And when he was comparing, or when he was saying that there were things in Cuba that are better than the United States. And he said to Colin Kaepernick, the reporter, so you're saying America has split up families? And he was like, yeah, what you think slavery and mass incarceration are all about? You know, just real matter of factly, like, dude, you speaking out of a place of emotion. And it's understood, the whole Castro thing, whereas, like I said before, in one instance, you call that a Fidel Castro shirt, I call it a Malcolm X shirt. There were actually two men on the shirt. You know what I mean? So if you get to pick, so do I. I get to pick which man I attribute the shirt to, and I attribute it to Malcolm X. And I think I have the upper hand on that because he also had an X hat on too. So he had the whole ensemble dedicated to Malcolm X. So that's that. This article talks about how aware he is that him not speaking has created a vacuum. And whenever a vacuum is created, obviously something and someone will fill it. Enter Donald Trump. Enter Jerry Jones. Enter the NFL owners. Enter these fake patriots. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, he's out. He's got this article coming out, and like I said, I felt it was really, and I hope I get to read it when it comes out. Like, find me a magazine, not find. Like, go get one and read it, because I want to read it. I want to read it in its entirety. I want to read his words. I want to read the words of these 10 confidants in their entirety, as to what they're saying about all this stuff that's going on. This is the One Mike with Big Mike show. I'm here live as I usually am, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 o'clock, Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app and TuneIn is where you can find me. You can also catch me streaming live video here on Facebook. If you guys want to holler at me there. It's at One Mic with Big Mike at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. All right. I highlighted a couple things that I found interesting from a lot of these people, who spoke not on his behalf, but spoke on what's actually happening. Ava DuVernay, she is a filmmaker. She did Selma. She did 13th. If you haven't seen 13th, shame on you. Get yourself a Netflix password from somebody and check 13th out. It'll blow your mind, man. It did mine. It blow your mind. It did mine. MINDMINE. All right. She said she had dinner with him and his girlfriend, Nessa, the radio host from I think she would Power 105, or she just straight syndicated. Either way, she's up in New York. And she says she's sitting there like, quote, look at this brother. He's doing better than any of us would have done, end quote. And then she's true. I mean, I feel the same way. Not she's true. What she's saying is true. And I feel the same way. She says a lot better with a lot more elegance. I don't think I could have said that any better. I probably wouldn't. I'm a mumble mouth as it is. Cameron Perez, who's an activist, an executive director of the Gathering for Justice, which addresses mass incarceration and child incarceration. She had a few things to say as well. Like I said, you can check this out on your own. I think I put it on my Facebook page if you guys want to check out the entire article. But she says, can we see our liberation bound to one another's? And this is something that I'm always talking about with black people, man. Like, when things are happening in the LGBT community, like, that should affect you, man. Like, that should, because newsflash, civil rights aren't exclusive to black people. If people are being mistreated and people aren't being offered the same inalienable rights as everyone else, simply because of who they are, whether you think they choose to be that or whether you believe they were born to be that, either way, doesn't matter. But when especially people in the black community try to distance themselves from issues that are going on in the Hispanic community, from issues that are going on within the Native American community, to me, and I feel the same way on the other side too. If you're a Hispanic person, if you're a Native American, if you're someone who is a minority in this country, these things that are going on that Colin Kaepernick is talking about should matter to all of us, every last one of us, and more. You know what I'm saying? They talked to J. Cole as well. J. Cole met him a while ago the year they went to the Super Bowl. He says, when I saw the crap, he didn't say crap, he said sugar, honey, iced tea. He was saying in his interviews, when they pressed him about it, his answers were so clear and potent, like right on point. And he wasn't backing down, and he wasn't afraid. I said this at the beginning, man. Like, I don't know if I would have called this, if somebody would say, you know who the perfect person would be to stand up and speak against, social injustice and police brutality and systematic racism? Colin Kaepernick. I don't know that I would have said, yep, you know what, you're right. But after the fact, I don't see anyone who could have done it better. Nope. Especially after you see the aftermath that came about when Trump said what he said. I was gonna say President Obama. I never called Trump president anything. Said what he said, and these people was like, we're not sons of bitches, and blah 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 blah. Emotion. This dude didn't come at this situation. Colin Kaepernick didn't come at this situation with emotion. He came at it with thoughtfulness. Tamika Mallory, the national co-chair for Women's March, she said, my position is that people should not be watching football right now. The way a lot of you feel. A lot of you who listen to this show feel that people shouldn't be watching football. But she also says we need to ensure that we're not on social media talking about the game as well. Some of the other things she said is the history. She talks about explaining to other people who want to cleave and love this anthem. She talks about the history of the third verse, that Francis Scott, who wrote the anthem, refers directly to us as slaves and being unable to escape the wrath of slave owners. This is a song that so many people claim to be a part of their patriotism. Miss me with the bull. Amir Hassan Loggins is a writer at UC Berkeley, academic, lecturer, a one-time Bay Area hip-hop icon, who says, we're upset to see someone who gives a damn being treated so poorly. I think that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? It's not the fact that white people don't care about what happens to black people at the hands of police officers. I've gotten over that a long time in my life, long ago. But it's the fact that when somebody who does care and looks like the people who are being handled in this way by authorities says, you know what, damn it, listen to us. Just listen. We don't like what's happening. And if you're someone who feels like it's okay to ignore it, I'm going to make sure you don't ignore it. You can't ignore it. And to see that person being treated and being ostracized and being, blackballed from doing a job that let's keep it real. When these guys come out of college and start playing in the NFL, a lot of them, the majority of them, aren't really qualified to then, move on to become some sort of hedge fund manager or something like that. And I use that to talk about the money that they make. Their qualifications to make that type of bread in America are not up to scratch. Let's say it that way for the majority of them. He goes on to say, we decided the conversation leans on, does Colin want to be an activist or does he want to be an athlete? As if those two can't happen simultaneously. Exactly. The problem is that his particular activism was towards the cause of blackness. How many times have y'all heard me say that? People can talk about, dog shelters and mental, what is it called? Brandon Marshall's cause is, I don't want to call it mental instability. What do they call it? When you're not, mental illness is what I'm trying to think of. Mental illness. People can talk about human trafficking and bullying. They can talk about all these other social issues and be cool. As soon as my man says, you know what, black people shouldn't be able to be murdered by the police and the police not face any sort of punishment for it, everybody want to lose their damn mind. They talked to Eric Reed. Guy I mentioned earlier in the show, Eric Reed, his former teammate, still with the San Francisco 49ers. He says the issues are real, and people know they're real. Yeah, I don't know if all people know they're real. I think people think this is just a bit, because I've talked to white people who start throwing out more white people get killed by the police than black people. And it's like, even if that was the case, because per capita, it's not factually, but per the numbers, yeah, you outnumber black people 3-1 in this country. I think it's 3-1, it may be more. But by the percentages, it's way higher. I'm 3 times as likely. Maybe that's what I was thinking about. I'm 3 times as likely to be murdered by the police than you as a white person. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. When I talk about the willfully ignorant versus just the regular ignorant, I can't really tell them apart, to be honest with you. But they exist in the same bubble. He says, but some will do anything to distract from that, to change the narrative. And it's gotten Colin blackballed from the NFL. Like part of Eric Reed's biggest move on this, or the thing that he's moving towards, the one of the things he's moving towards the most heavily, is getting Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL. I think that is a fool's errand. I don't think these players, these owners, what was said is what was meant. They're not going to let the prisoners run the asylum or run the prison or whatever he said, however he put it. They're not going to be told what to do by the people who work for them. No, sir. Not these billionaire white boys. That's not happening whatsoever. Christopher Petrella, a writer at The Scholar at Bates College, says, the narrative has been co-opted. This is a perfect way of putting it. Co-opted and reframed so that taking a knee is now somehow synonymous with disrespecting the flag with a lack of patriotism. I'm going to read you guys something later on that the light-skinned devil, Steph Curry, wrote in the Players Tribune. I say that all jokingly. But if you guys want to check it out, go to the Players Tribune and look for Steph Curry's latest thing about the veterans. Something he wrote for Veterans Day. It's called The Noise. I'll talk about it before the show is out, but just to give you guys a heads up, because I'm not going to read the whole thing to you guys, but the whole thing is very good. It's not even super long. Linda Sarsour, or Sarsour, what? Sour? Sarsour. She's an activist, a co-organizer of the Women's March on Washington, a former executive director of the Arab American Association of New York. She had comments, as well as his girlfriend, who is also, not also, but she's a Muslim. She is a national syndicated radio TV host. She does this show, I don't know if it still comes on, called Girl Talk. It is absolutely hilarious. It's just women talking about women stuff in kind of in the voice of the way you would normally consider men talking about, just really, really, really brash and in your face. It's hilarious. It was hilarious. I don't know if it still comes on. I used to watch it before our shows when I was doing radio. It's just as something to just, get myself out of sports before talking about sports. Anyway, she says, as long as you're educated and you have facts, get into those discussions about race. I always, it's different now, though. It's really different now because things are so polar and things are so tribal. Like, people can't really have an honest conversation in which it may end up, the conversation may end and you may say, you know what? I was wrong about that. I didn't see it from that perspective and I was wrong. At this day and age, no one's wrong. Everything's fake news because you got an idiot, a dummy in the White House. Everything's fake news and all this kind of stuff. So nobody is willing to admit that they're wrong. Just like the dude, that's the orange dude in the White House. Never, ever does that dude say he's wrong about anything. So this whole dynamic of, let's have conversations. I used to do it all the time when I was working at a radio station here in Atlanta, 680 The Fan. All white people. Well, not all. I'm not going to say that. But it was a majority white people. They would ask me questions, racial questions. And, I wasn't a dude that was going to get mad about that. But by this time, I was a little bit more mature than I'd ever been. So we'd actually have conversation about things. And I didn't know if their minds were going to change or their perspectives were going to change. But the one thing I knew did change was they could no longer claim ignorance. Well, I didn't know that. No, now you know, because I told you. So however you proceed from here, you're proceeding. If you proceed the same way, you're proceeding in stupidity, not ignorance anymore. Ignorance meaning the lack of the information. But I've given you the information now, so that becomes stupidity. And she says that have those conversations. I don't care how intense they get. Well, I mean, that's not, you can't be like, I don't care how intense. People start pulling out pistols and knives and stuff. The great Harry Belafonte, we all know who he is. He says he's prepared to do anything. He's 80, 90 years old. Prepared to do anything it takes and whatever steps he can do to support Colin Kaepernick in this, if this insanity continues. He describes it as insanity. He says Trump has betrayed the nation. And he talks about asking Muhammad Ali and Jackie Robinson and so many of us if we had anything at stake. And basically what he's saying is that what I hear when I read those names is that Jackie Robinson was looked at as a communist and a disruptor because Jackie Robinson didn't stand for the anthem either. He said, I can't. Muhammad Ali didn't go fight for this damn country. Because why? They ain't fight for him. And over time, the narrative, history told on people. You know what I'm saying? Jackie Robinson died. Muhammad Ali, he's dead now, but before he died, he was unable to speak anymore. So he became this sympathetic figure. And that's when white people decided they wanted to just change history and make it something it wasn't. Oh, Muhammad Ali, we love him. Really? I kind of, from what I read, obviously I remember it different. I wasn't around back then, but no. I read, and I've seen movies and documentaries, and it appeared different to me. Say it that way. It appeared to be somewhat different in the way he was regarded at the peak of his blackness and his Americanism. It wasn't white people running behind a hearse. That one in the future. That one in the cars, kissing a car that he was in, his dead body was in. But like I always say, who am I, right? I'm just some dude. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. I want to get into college football this weekend. We're going to do On This Day first. Then we're going to get into college football. And we're going to talk about that and break it down a little bit. Talk about the NFL later on, as well as some NBA storylines as well. And then I'm going to get the hell out of here, man. Going to do it like that here on a Monday. Not sure if I'm going to check this Monday Night Football out, but, we'll see. Anyway, it is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here, man. Holla at your boy. 404-902-8104 is the number you want to text. 404-902-8104. I'm heard live right now on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, and on TuneIn. I'll be right back.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Hey, Monday. I'm here, man. The One Mic with Big Mike show. Don't forget, if you miss any of the show, if you have to check out early, the shows are all available on demand on Spreaker, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And of course, the live stream will be up forever and ever and ever. I am Big Mike. Shout out to Calmelia. I hope I'm always saying that, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. Calmelia. Checking in on the conversation from the last segment. And I was talking about the third verse of the national anthem, America's national anthem. She chimes in saying, but they want to say it's because they don't sing that verse. It shouldn't make a difference. Of course. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's that willful ignorance. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Just because the damn song is too long to do for the whole song is too long to do for a pregame, doesn't mean I'm just supposed to ignore it. Ignore that it was written by a racist for racists. It's like the opposite of FUBU. I mean, it's like not for us or by us. You feel me? Camelia, make sure you share this, man. Share this live stream with your people on Facebook. Let them know we up in here, man. Have them join you, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's get it on. You know what I mean? Speaking of getting it on, I wasn't gonna say anything perverted. Speaking of getting it on, it's that time, man. It's time right now to take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
All right, short and sweet before we move into our college football talk. On this day in 1934, Ralph Scotty Bowman of the St. Louis Eagles scored the very first penalty shot in NHL history. Remember, the other day I mentioned the guy who took the first shot, but he got his blocked. This guy, Ralph Scotty Bowman, actually made his. He made the very first one in NHL history. On this day in 1995, A-Town, ATL, stand up, the Atlanta Braves became Greg Maddux of the Atlanta Braves became the first pitcher to win 4 consecutive Cy Young Awards. Greg Maddux, from what I understand from people who played with him, there's some stories about him out there. He was a nasty MFer. Like, I mean, nasty in the word of what is it? Unhygienic, non-hygienic, just nasty. You can look those up on the internet, I'm sure. On this day in 1998, the ball hit by Babe Ruth for his very first home run that he hit in Yankee Stadium, it was sold at auction for $126,000. I always wonder about people who buy things like that. Like, how much more value is it going to get? If it went for 126, is it possible that in 10 years it'd be worth $500,000? I don't know about these things. Maybe that's the whole purpose, or maybe people just ain't gonna sell it. But if you buy it for like sentimental reasons, that's weird to me. Because I'm not a real sentimental guy. So anyway, on this day in 2006, here's a YouTube video that you want to check out. Delman Young, he got suspended for 50 games by the International League for throwing a bat, which hit a replacement umpire in the chest. The video of this is mad hilarious. If you want, just Google Delman Young suspension and enjoy. You can thank me later. That is your Monday edition of On This Day. All right, moving right along here. I started the show off talking about Colin Kaepernick, man, being voted Citizen of the Year by GQ magazine. The cover is ill. You got like the big, huge afro that I'm mad envious of. You got the all black on with the turtleneck like a Black Panther. It's like it's done in a way where you know it's done. Well, it's done purposely, you know, to show power, show that Panther power. It's a pretty ill cover, man. There's some videos out there of the entire photo shoot. I didn't look at the video or whatnot, but I did see it in passing while I was reading today. So that I felt like, you know, that was like crazy ill. But Saturday in college football, man. It made me really think college football has figured it out. They can't go to this 8-team model. They can't double it because then things get way too convoluted. I like where, you know, starting in at the end of October, November. You know what I'm saying? You about to really jump off, man. You about to really find out who's who. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, like I got Alabama fatigue. I don't really watch Alabama football until around this time because, okay, they're going to beat up on everybody. They're going to tear everybody out the frame. Cool, whatever. But now, you know, everybody's playing for something. A lot of people are playing for something. Anyway, let me first, before I get too in depth or deep into the conversation, for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you guys what happened. UGA and Notre Dame, number 1 and number 3, got smashed. Alabama had a close call versus Mississippi State. I don't think the game was indicative. The Bama game was indicative of who Alabama is. I think it's just what I'm always talking about. Emotional immaturity. All weekend long, emotional immaturity reared its head. It was on full display, man. You know, you got Notre Dame heading out to Miami in an atmosphere that was bananas. It was so crazy. They had all the old players on the sideline. The kids got the turnover chain. That's like probably the most lit thing in college for a long time, man. And it makes it even more so because it's associated with that school. And for those of you who are around my age and you can remember those 80s Miami teams, not the Glenn Dorsey ones. I'm talking about Lamar Thomas. I'm talking about Jesse Armstead. I'm talking about Michael Irvin. I'm talking about those Miami teams. You know what I mean? The wildness and just the pure unadulterated arrogance that we know we're better than everybody. And we're not gonna back down or shy away from telling you how good we are. The turnover chain isn't that. It's not that, but it's probably as much Miami swag as is allowed in 2017. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never gonna really get that feel that we got back then, because back then it was not only Miami, Florida was in on it. Florida State with Deion and Cliff Abraham and those dudes. Shade Tree Jones, it was a thing, man. Them Florida boys was crazy, and I was in high school then, so I remember just watching that. And we used to try to emulate it on the football field, but you know it didn't really work out the same way because people always worry about bad sportsmanship. Miss me with the dumb stuff. Like I hate that excuse when people start talking about kids. The kids are gonna see you do that. If you don't shake hands after a victory, like the other day when my man from Penn State. They lost. So his team was like, we out. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't shaking no damn hand. They just beat the brakes off us. He went, wasn't it Franklin? He went and ran his team down. You know, it played well on television. See, this is what sportsmanship is all about. Whether you win or you lose, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, the winning team don't even want to do that. They don't want to shake no damn hands and all that. They want to celebrate their victory. So anyway. Let's start here. Let's start with the UGA Auburn game. People here were initially disappointed until they realize mathematically the University of Georgia is not out of the playoff race. They fell to number 7 in, AP coaches poll. I don't look at any of them because now they're meaningless. The only poll that matters is the one that comes out tomorrow on Tuesday, the college football playoff poll. But in the non-important polls, they fell to number 7. You may think that's quite of a hill to climb, but not really, because of what is going to eventually happen. Auburn still has to play Alabama in the Iron Bowl, which to me, I'll say this, and people have always looked at me funny, even since my days on radio years ago when we have conversations about the best rivalries in college sports. People would talk about Duke, North Carolina, a game which they might play 3 times that year. And none of them even mean anything because they're not meeting in the tournament most of the time. But so many times, this Alabama-Auburn game, it means something. Either for both teams or for one team, it means something. And to me, that makes the rivalry better. Even Ohio State, Michigan, yes, a lot of hype around it, but when's the last time it was really for something for either team moving on to bigger things? This game and the way Auburn's been playing, the way Auburn played on Saturday, my God, that was an ass kicking. And the warning that I was giving all year long, this young kid from the quarterback, at some point, we see it every year. You had these good freshman quarterbacks, but at some point, what happens? The pumpkin turns back into a whatever. The cherry turns back into a pumpkin, right? Your freshman quarterback, he becomes a freshman quarterback. Jalen Hurts, it happened to him at the most inopportune time last year when he couldn't convert, not nail third down to keep that defense of his off the football field against Clemson in the national championship. At some point, the quarterback is going to become a freshman. And in that environment, it was just a perfect recipe for it to happen in. People talk about, well, he went to Notre Dame and he did well. Well, Notre Dame not invited. They got infiltrated by like half of the crowd being UGA fans. So that wasn't the same. Like when things happen good up at South Bend, there was just as loud a roar for them as there was for Notre Dame when Notre Dame did something well. So anyway, I felt like Auburn also had a point to prove. You know what I'm saying? As we always talk about, what I do, I'm usually calling the SEC West, but then the SEC East being kind of like the minor leagues, the SEC least. I've never really, for a very long time, felt as though those two conferences should be spoken about in the same breath, in the same way. Just because you have SEC in front of it, nope. Especially when Florida won the SEC East like 2 years in a row or whatever it was. They just fired the coach. You know what I'm saying? So did Tennessee, by the way. Butch Jones is out. So that's another job that, man, used to be so attractive. But now, when Philip Fulmer had that thing going, and Peyton Manning and T. Martin and Peerless Price and those boys and Al Wilson, Jamal, what's Jamal's name? My man from here in Atlanta, from Doug High. Jamal Lewis. It was going down up there, man. Now, lately, last, 10, 15 years, not so much. And the other thing that happened with UGA, just kind of like on the outskirts, and we'll talk about this here in a second, Notre Dame losing and the way they lost. It hurts Georgia because that was initially a very good win for Georgia, going to South Bend, taking care of business against a Notre Dame team who, as the season went on, looked pretty damn good. Had that one blemish, took USC to the damn woodshed. But then they show up in South Beach, and oh my God, you would have thought a real hurricane hit them. To the point no one knew what to do. Brian Kelly's over there looking stupid. You had the quarterback get benched. Been riding with this dude all year. And for whatever reason, again, people want to talk about being scared and all that. I don't really vibe with that. But he did look to be a little over his head. You know what I'm saying? That emotional immaturity that I'm talking about. Like these big black brothers with these dreads. Some of them got gold teeth in their mouth. All they doing is hunting. because they got a reward coming for them on the sideline. And they know if they put that chain on, the camera's going to be all eyes is going to be on. That's the first thing they going to do, go stand up on the bench and start playing to the crowd. That is one hell of a motivator. To the tune of 4 times we saw that turnover chain come out on Saturday. If you don't know what the turnover chain is, for those of you who may just be listening to this and try to figure out what the hell I'm talking about, Miami has a replica gold. I'm going to say replica because I'm just going to say replica. Because I feel like if it wasn't a replica or costume jewelry or whatever, there'd be some trouble behind it, and there may still be down the road. But as of right now, it's cool. Everybody's cool with it right now. And every time someone on the defense gets a turnover, you recover a fumble, you get an interception, you walk over to the sideline, the defensive coordinator drapes it around your neck, and you get to have the chain around your neck before until the next series, the next defensive series. And it's a big time motivator because it's all love. It's Miami. It's flashy. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now, as I mentioned before, at some point, it'll go the way of the dab, I believe. Only because, things that are cool and lit, they tend to get whitewashed real quick now because of social media. They got T-shirts with them on it. They selling these things. I wonder who's getting the money for that. Now, I'm not saying any player deserves the money, but that assistant coach, he's the one who developed it. He came up with the whole idea of the turnover chain. I'm sure he's not getting a penny from it. The NCAA, Miami's pocketing all the money from them $40 T-shirts. How much ever those replica turnover chains cost, they pocketing all that money. But eventually, you know what I'm saying? If Miami turns out to be more than just a flash in the pan, it's going to be an issue, I think. It's going to be an issue of sportsmanship and using props. It's going to be something eventually, but because the NCAA can't have, this team from Miami with all these black brothers and these angry black men with these damn dreads on their head showing up other teams that are all about academia and sportsmanship and bliggity blah, blah, blah. For example, another example of how these things can fade if you ain't worth a crap. The University of Tennessee, like I mentioned, just fired Butch Jones. They had a turnover trash can. Like how lame does that sound now? when the turnover chain is as lit as it is, how lame does that sound now to have a turnover trash can? Well, no one cared about that after about week 2 because Tennessee was garbage themselves. They deserve to be in that trash can. And it shouldn't have been for turnovers. It just should have been for everybody involved. All the coaching staff, everyone who was making decisions over there, just boom, in the trash can. And the same thing probably would have happened with this turnover chain. People would have been talking about how the chain is fake and somebody's neck is going to turn green one day and all this kind of stuff. But it doesn't matter now because Miami, as everyone is saying, the U is back. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Not yet. They're in prime position. I guess you may be able to expect them to be somewhere around 2 or 3 in the next poll, as well as Oklahoma. Of course, Alabama will still be there. And Clemson, who had a little early scare against Florida State this weekend, but nothing to be concerned about. You know what I saw in that Florida State game? Real quick before I get back to this Miami stuff, because I want to talk about Mark Richt here in a second. The thing that I saw that was amazing to me, this young kid that's playing for Florida State right now, their freshman quarterback, Blackman, he was standing by, what's the kid's first name? Is it DeAndre? Francois, the normal starting quarterback. And I don't know if he was leaning over. I don't think he was. This kid, this little skinny beanpole of a kid, Blackman, was towering over Francois like by a foot. I was like, how damn tall is this kid? He's like Manute Bol playing quarterback. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I found it to be very, very weird and lightweight concerning, to be honest with you. A little bit concerning. Mark Richt. Funny how things kind of turn out. He's in Miami now, back to his alma mater. Kirby Smart, back with his alma mater in Georgia, excuse me. And things seem to be working out for both of these guys. Mark Richt has an opportunity to do something special in his second year as head coach down there. They've got to go through Clemson eventually. Georgia still has to beat Georgia Tech. And I thought Georgia Tech would have been one of those trap games for Georgia, the game that traps them. I think that's not until 2 weeks. They probably got some sort of bum ass, Georgia Tech or Georgia State team or something this weekend. I don't know what the schedule is, as kind of a primer before the Georgia Tech game. I don't think they're going to get tripped up. Far be it for me to make a prediction about anything. I don't think they'll get tripped up anywhere else. So they'll go into Atlanta to the SEC championship with one loss. They may be facing a 2-loss Auburn team or a undefeated Alabama team, which people were talking about hoping that it be Auburn for some sort of revenge situation. I don't think you want to see Auburn, not because they just beat you. I don't think, but you don't want your victory to come against a 2-loss Auburn, even though they beat you. If it's me and I want to make sure that it happens the way it happened, or if I lose, I don't want to lose to a 2-loss Auburn twice. If I lose, I want to lose a close one. I want to lose a close one to Alabama that's undefeated, which may play a little bit more understandable. It will still leave Georgia at 2 losses, which, if you heard my man Bill Bender from the Sporting News, the national college football writer for the Sporting News, say he doesn't believe that this is a climate that's conducive for a 2-loss team. All right, so let's break it down real quick before we take another break at the top of the hour here. Oklahoma just beat number 6 TCU. They got 2 road wins. They got one against Ohio State. They got another one against Oklahoma State over top 25 teams. So that'll help them out. Like I say, they're probably going to be in the top 4 this year. They got the Heisman Trophy front runner, and people feel like Baker Mayfield is running away with the damn thing. People are loving the way he's playing football here lately, saying that he's doing a lot to compensate for their insufficient their deficiencies. Let me say it that way on defense. What happened to all my damn? See, my notes were highlighted, and for whatever reason, the highlights are gone, and that's not a good thing. All right. Anyway, we're gonna have to wing it. So you got Georgia. I already mentioned Georgia, right? I told you about the Notre Dame loss. Didn't do a lot for them. Notre Dame is not out of it completely. They have 2 losses now. So no matter what they do, the fact that they don't have a conference championship murders them. It kills them. But, of course, Georgia, as I mentioned, they still got to play Georgia Tech, but then they got the SEC championship. And if it's me, I want Alabama. I don't want Auburn. I'm rooting for Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Their resume consists of course, that Notre Dame win. I don't know. What else? I was wondering that, too. Like, what else does Georgia have? They beat the brakes off Mississippi State. They got in South Carolina's junk. They beat the crap out of Florida. Yeah, they need to show up and play play Alabama, and they need to beat Alabama. Now you got Miami. Miami, who last week we talked about them being in the same boat as Wisconsin, not really getting that respect. And Wisconsin's still there. You know what I mean? We'll talk about them here in a second. But that win against against Notre Dame, it goes a lot further. It takes them a lot further than they were before. You know, that's what's going to be considered as a quality win. They beat the number 3 team in the damn nation. They also have wins against Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, who, quite frankly, Georgia Tech's already out of the top 25. Virginia Tech could be out of the top 25 by tonight or today or tomorrow, I should say. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, they needed to do what they did, because right now their resume pretty much consists of Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and maybe, if you want to put Georgia Tech in there because they were ranked at the time, so be it. The Pac-12 needs a lot of stuff to happen. Pac-12 needs a whole lot of stuff to happen to get somebody in, because they are going to definitely have a conference champion with at least 2 losses. And, you know, if I'm to believe Bill Bender, it ain't going down like that. It's not happening like that. Alabama, their trajectory is pretty damn clean, right? It's pretty clean. You win, you're in. Same with Clemson. Not so sure about Wisconsin, though. Even if Wisconsin goes undefeated and they beat like a 2-loss, let's say Ohio State in the championship, they've already got the West, the Big 10, West tied up. The same way Georgia has the SEC East tied up already. You know what I'm saying? But for Wisconsin, just their lack of quality wins. They beat an Iowa team this weekend, which, okay. But if you're going to tell me Iowa and Northwestern should get you in the playoffs, I'll tell you you're lying. That can't be a thing at all. A couple other things around here. I'm not going to really pay attention to what happened, what happens tomorrow in the rankings. I only, like I mentioned before, only care about the last ones. But it makes the games, feel me? It makes the games so much more interesting to me. Speaking of Ohio State, they beat the living crap out of Michigan State. And I don't know how that, I do know how it happened, because it's what emotional immaturity is a real thing. And we all had it, man, when we were that age, when things felt important. It felt so important to us at that time that as you get older and real responsibility is befalling you, it's like, whatever, I didn't talk about the Bama-Mississippi State game. I turned to the game once I realized there was something going on in this game. Mississippi State played the best game they could, and they still lost because Bama is just ultimately more talented and better. They slowed the game down. They let the play clock run all the way down before they ran a play. They were physical with Alabama, but when it was all said and done, Bama was just like, you know what we're going to do? Run it down your throat. We're going to convert 3rd and 13 in crunch time. We're going to convert 4th and 4 in crunch time. We're going to throw the ball deep at the end of the game to a freshman wide receiver because it's Alabama, and beat you and walk off into the sunset and become the number 1 team in the nation next week. That's how that's going to get played out. There's some other stuff that I have here on this thing. They don't have anything to do with sports. But since I got a couple minutes here, before the segment is over, I didn't get a chance to mention this last week that your man Orenthal, James Simpson, is trying to go back to the Bing. He's trying to go back to jail for whatever reason, man. This dude is drunk and apparently belligerent in a Las Vegas hotel and got barred. Now, I think part of his, what is it called, parole? Part of his parole stipulations is that you can't drink alcohol to an excess. Well, I think that qualifies. Oh, my God, that just went away. I'm sorry. Shout out to, damn it, this damn thing. Damn it. I sound like my dad dealing with computers. Shout out to Tom Gully. He says there aren't any college football playoffs in Division I. Just an invitation for 4 teams generated by. Look, here's the thing, though. I can't even really bug out about that, man, because that's kind of really what it is. You know what I mean? It's masked as a playoff because inevitably that's what it turns out to be. But there's really no undeniable way of earning your way into the playoffs. Now, I don't think it's computer. It's people. It's people on a panel, the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, that sit in the room every week and say, who we like this week? We like this people this week. And we like this person because of this, because of strength of schedule, because of they played this, but this team beat this team, but they beat this team more than they beat that team. And all these different scenarios get thrown back and forth. And really, the inevitability of it is they want to produce the best 4 teams to produce the best, 3 games, right? You get the 2 semifinal games, then you get your championship game. Because the reality is, Wisconsin is undefeated. And Central Florida, if they didn't lose this week, I don't know. I don't think I would have seen it probably on television. Central Florida is also undefeated. Where do they fit in a playoff scenario? Yeah, nowhere. Because you know why? We're only looking at these 5 major conferences, man. If you're in Conference USA or Conference the MAC or any of these the AA, what is it called? The AAC, American Conference, you ish out of luck. We're talking about big boy football. And those are the only ones that matter. And even with that being said, the Pac-12 going to get crapped on. Ain't nobody in from over there. USC from over there, no. Whoever, Arizona, or I don't know who else is popping over there right now. Oregon State, I don't know. Ain't nobody getting in, though, so it don't matter to me. They got to put no respect on their name. But, yeah, Tom's right. It's not really a playoff because it's not because think about what we talk about in the NFL. You earn your way in, right? Based on your record, you earn your way in. And you can do that when you have two leagues, or I guess the AFC, NFC, and you have the East, West, North, and South within those two divisions. It's a lot more clean and clear cut. Feel me? You know, the Panthers right now, they're going for a wild card because of what's happening with New Orleans. They're running away with it. The Dallas Cowboys going for a wild card because of the Eagles running away with it. The Eagles, you win your division, you go to the playoffs. And then you have everybody else fighting for it below you based on record and common opponent and things of that nature. The NCAA, not so much. You know, because of the fact that there's too many teams involved. Like if it were my baby, I'd do it the way they do in what is it? The FBS? Is FBS, right? Or is it FCS? Anyway, the one that used to be 1AA. I'd only take the playoff teams from the 5 major conferences. I let that be a stipulation. You only get in these playoffs if you're in the 5 major conferences. If you win your conference, you get in. Everybody else gets ranked by record. With that being said, though, you can't be playing Georgia Southern. You can't be playing, Southern and FAMU. Can't have those on your record. If you do, they don't count. And it counts against you if you do. You play each other. If you want to play out the conference, somebody from the ACC, play somebody from the Big Ten. Somebody from the Big Ten, play somebody from the Pac-12. Do it like that. And then allow your playoff teams to come out of that. And as my man Tom Gully is alluding to, have yourself a real playoff. All right, it's time to take a break. Top of the hour here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Appreciate y'all hanging out, man. It's a Monday. We here, man. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. We're also on TuneIn, man. You want to holler at me? Do like these cats are doing. Hit me up on Facebook at One Mic with Big Mike. The live stream is pumping. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room here on Spreaker. Just click the little thought bubble icon if you're listening via Spreaker or the app. It'll get you right up in here, man. Also, you can text the show at 404-902-8104. 404-902-8104. I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. Childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One mic.
I'm back.
It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live.
Ain't no goddamn tape.
Interactive and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky. He's real loudmouth. He's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
All right, man. 1 hour down here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I just noticed, man, that my Spreaker situation didn't share today. So for those of you who normally get the post about, the show on Spreaker, I have to look into that, man. Spreaker's been acting the ass over these last couple days, man. Starting to piss your boy off. Anyway, what up, man? I'm here, man. If you guys missed any of the first hour of the show, make sure you check it out and tell your friends about it as well. That you can get it on demand on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Download that from all your app stores. Also on TuneIn. You can also get it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube, man, and subscribe to the iTunes as well. Check me out right now, streaming live video on Facebook. I'm at the numeral 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. I'm also here on I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. Same handle. You guys want to holler at me? Do so by texting me at 404-902-8104. Jump inside my live interactive chat room. Click the little thought bubble icon. It'll get you up in there. Or you can just hit me up on Facebook, man. See the live stream. Hit me up like a couple people already have. Let me know what you're thinking. Ask me any questions you want to ask me. Say any rude things you want to say to me. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Here's something funny that I saw today. Apparently this dude named Juan Jose Vidril Bibriesca. 4 names. He's 43 years old. He was in court on Wednesday, standing next to 2 defendants when a wad of cocaine allegedly fell from his hat. Bibriesca was allegedly taking off his hat in front of the judge when a square folded paper fell on the floor. The police reviewed the surveillance footage and reportedly determined the cocaine inside of the paper had fallen from Bibriesca's hat. Yeah. He was walked over to the county jail and charged with narcotics possession and a bond violation. Now, here's the part that the Trumper is going to love. He was born in Mexico and was reportedly in the country illegally. You know what I found out this weekend? Real quick before I get on with this NFL stuff. That case that they trying to make that law in San Francisco about that illegal alien who wasn't deported, and he ended up killing the white girl, and they're using that as a case for like illegal immigration violence. I ended up finding out that I never even took the time, and shame on me, to even read about this case and what the actual circumstances were. The circumstances were this poor bastard, and like this is not what his defense is saying. This is what is agreed upon happened. So before you get on that, after hearing me say what I'm about to say, understand that there is an agreement on what happened and how the circumstances came to be what they were. Okay, so a gun was stolen from a security officer. This homeless Mexican cat, found said gun in a trash can wrapped in a I don't know, cloth or paper towel or something. He realizes what it is, I guess, and then he drops it. The gun goes off. The bullet bounces off the pavement and hits this young lady like something like 80 feet or 80 yards, something like that away. And they're charging this dude with murder. Murder. And they're making the case that, yeah, look what's coming over here from Mexico, these violent criminals. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, this reeks of racism all up and down it, man. Like, there's no way. I'm not going to say there's no way. Like, this dude, there's definitely a way this guy can be found guilty because it's America, spelled with 3 Ks. But should he be? Like, just hearing that. No other facts of the case do I know. But the fact that both the prosecutor and the defense and the human rights organizations, everybody, they've come to a conclusion that this is how this transpired. This dude wasn't out being no predator. He didn't do a drive-by and mistakenly kill this woman. Apparently, he was afraid of what he found. The gun hit the ground. It went off. The bullet didn't even just hit her directly. It bounced off. It ricocheted off of the ground and killed this young lady. It's almost like getting hit by damn lightning. It's almost like getting hit by lightning and somebody blaming you for the lightning. And oh man, God, I hate these people, man. These people, these damn Trump people and Trump, God, I hate them so bad. That's so irresponsible, man. It's so irresponsible, man, to use that as a fear-mongering technique. This is why this woman, I was wondering why, like, this woman's mom, her parents was like, I don't want my daughter's name wrapped up into this foolishness. Now I see exactly why she felt that way. Because that's exactly what it is. I don't know if she's using the term foolishness, but I'm using it right now. They're using this woman's daughter and the death of her daughter as a prop for some sort of bullcrap political agenda that is real racist. Anyway, man, I just thought about that when I was reading the story about this Mexican cat who had he's illegal in the country. My man takes his hat off and the cocaine falls on the ground. Like, dude, you just got to move your foot, dude, and like cover that joint up while you plead not guilty or whatever. Like, I hope he didn't try to pick it up. But you know, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Shout out to Rick James. So yeah, the NFL. You know what I'm realizing with me in the NFL? My attitude towards it, and I'm not sure that it has anything to do with what's happening with Colin Kaepernick, because as I told you guys many times before, I'm not surprised. Some of you seem to be surprised as to what the NFL really is, as though at some point you felt as though these rich billionaire owners cared about their property, for lack of a better word, in these players. No, they don't look at these guys as family and all this kind of ridiculousness. No, they're commodities. That's why they're able to trade them and draft them and cut them and sign them to these bullcrap contracts like with Martellus Bennett. They didn't want him around no more. Cut him. Now, that ain't enough. They want to come back and get money that was on a contract that both teams signed and make up some crap about him not being forthright with an injury. Well, you gave him a physical before you signed him. That sounds like a dereliction of your own duty. But that's my point. I was already aware that this league was that. So the things that happened with Colin Kaepernick, this is why. At the very beginning, the Monday after was it a Saturday? It was a Saturday. Or I think it was a Friday preseason game. It was over the weekend. I don't think it was a Sunday, though, because I remember talking to, at that time, the producer that I had working with me on the show and saying, I got to get Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf on my show. So this was the weekend when this happened. It didn't happen on a Sunday, and I said that on a Monday. This happened early, like a Saturday morning, over on a Friday, whatever. My initial reaction that Monday when I did come on back and do the show was, he's done. He's done. And I wish he was better at football so that they wouldn't have an excuse. Now, that wasn't me calling Colin Kaepernick a bum or none of that. But I foresaw what it would be. That, well, he's not good enough to play. You know? Can find guys better than him. Even though that's a lie. Like statistically. Out of the 90 dudes that's playing football, like, he is statistically better than like 70 of them. 70 that are currently playing football in the startup or backup capacity. But the way this thing shook out first, it's hard to surprise me, especially when you talk about rich white men that are that they feel like they're in control of a bunch of young black dudes. It's hard to really surprise me. So the fact that this is why a lot of people are protesting, it kind of befuddles me. It's kind of mind-boggling, or as they said in what's the name of the show? Oh, I don't even have it here. I was gonna hit one of my little sound effects here, but apparently I don't have it. I don't have the little mind-boggling. All right, whatever. Yeah, that was a failure. All right, so, but I think I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored with football as a whole, and it's just, things are so bad, man. Like, quarterback play is bad. They tried to force me to watch Brett Hundley, and last night they tried to force me to watch Brock Osweiler. I didn't watch that crap. I was watching Shameless and Outlander and other stuff on TV, man. I can't watch this badass stuff, man, repeatedly over and over and over again. Hell no. You trying to make me watch like Joe Flacco just be bad at quarterback and Tom Savage. These cats. I'm good. Eli Manning and whatever that dude's name is, Beathard, down in San Francisco. No way, no thank you. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, people on the other side of the issue want to blame protests. They need to be protesting this badass quarterback play and these badass teams that just look horrible with bad coaching. Y'all see what happened with the Bears? That my man, and I think he won the challenge. He challenged his running back running out of bounds and possibly scoring. Well, what ends up happening is because he challenged, they go back and, of course, they review everything. So when they review it, they realize that my man is losing control of the football as he's crossing the goal line, and he did not step out of bounds. So that part was right. But because he fumbled the ball that hit the pylon, essentially through the end zone, touchback. So you don't get the points. You don't even get the ball. The other team gets it, and you lose. And John Fox, he ends up looking like an idiot, when in reality, it's not him being an idiot. He's hired idiots. The people who determine whether the coach is going to challenge a play or not, those are the people who are at fault. But, of course, John Fox ends up looking like the fall. Then you've got my man, Hugh Jackson. And whatever the hell that is that's going on down there with the Browns. A quarterback sneak happens when you don't have no timeout and it's like 10 seconds on the clock against the Detroit Lions. And, of course, what is Detroit going to do? They're going to tackle your butt because you're not going to sneak the ball in from 2 yards out and then lay on you. This is what every defense is taught. And let the clock run. And it ran. And before they can get up and spike the football, guess what? The time ran out. It's just a microcosm of the Cleveland Browns' whole, not even their season, their organization and their history since they've been back in Cleveland. They need to move the team again somewhere, man. Like, who doesn't have a team that could benefit from one, that could support a team? Move them there. And just, because obviously, too, the Cleveland fans are idiots. They keep paying money to go to that crap. Like, you wouldn't even be able to really pay me. Like, we'd have a serious negotiation about how much it would take for me to show up at that game willingly to watch that team play football, or what they call their semblance of what football is. Yeah, let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Falcons. I ain't already had this conversation. I've been thinking about it all day, so I'm not sure if I already had the conversation. So yesterday, the Cowboys come to town, right? They come to town. First game of Ezekiel Elliott's 6-game suspension. That man said he got out of town. He didn't get out of town. He got out of the country, which I don't know, dude. Like, who you with? Like, we got to find out who Ezekiel Elliott's with and what he's going to be doing. Because the worst thing he need to be is like in Dubai somewhere where like the rules are extra strict about a lot of things, and end up getting his ass locked up in some, Sharia law Muslim ass country for not understanding the customs and stuff. Like, that can't be a thing. Like, he already got the beard popping off, so he'll be, at home in a certain sense. But, yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man. Like, holding hands with a woman or kissing a woman in public, being drunk in public. Those things, they don't play. You know what I'm saying? They ain't about that life out there, from my understanding. I ain't never been, but you get what I'm saying? But first, before I get into talking about the Cowboys, which I guess I already started, but I want to talk once again about the people who live here in my fair city, who love their Atlanta Falcons. The fact that they have and I don't know. I don't know if this is the case in every other city, but I live here. And sometimes the just unrealistic response to some of the things that happen with this team, it's either they're the best thing in the world or they're the worst thing in the world. And it's real, it's funny style to me. For example, Cowboys come in here, they don't have they starting left tackle. Of course, I mentioned they don't have Ezekiel Elliott. I feel like Dez Bryant is a non-factor. In every game so far this year, I feel like Dez Bryant is only a name. He's a dude with a couple commercials, but as far as producing on the football field, yeah, it's probably time for the Falcons, the Cowboys, to move on from him. You know what I mean? Start featuring some other guys, Cole Beasley, the other kid on the other side, Williams, and then find them a young stud wide receiver who is what Dez Bryant was at one point. But he is no longer that. He no longer has the ability to put fear in defenses. He doesn't have the ability to stretch defenses, so they're able to pack the box. And because the offensive line is as good as it is when it's whole, it doesn't matter a lot. But Des Bryant gets a lot of one-on-one coverage, and he's not able to beat it. And because Dak Prescott, while he does have a lot of that improvisation in his game, he don't have the same amount as Tony Romo does. Tony Romo's instincts as a scrambler were second to none. No matter what not scrambler, I'm sorry, as a guy who is able to improvise is a lot better than a lot of people are willing to give him credit for. Of course, Dak is a better athlete, he's a better runner, all these things. But as far as being accurate with the football, as far as giving Des Bryant a chance, taking chances, and not caring about the criticism that may come with throwing an ill-advised interception. He's very, very, very careful with that football, man. And that comes as a product of, not wanting to put your defense. That's really customarily not that good. You want to put them on a short field. The other thing, is that you have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, so that gives you a certain level of comfort. But we're getting the chance to see Dak. We're getting the chance to see the 3rd round or 4th round pick, whatever he was, quarterback. Now, he's not some sort of prodigy. He's a good quarterback, but he's good in the sense of Colin Kaepernick good. You can win a lot of games with him, but things need to be right. And when they're not right, and when you got a coaching staff that's just just arrogant to the point of stupidity, you got what's the kid's name? Claiborne getting 6 sacks. A dude who went into the game after 9 weeks with 2. He tripled that amount in one game. The kid Green that was filling in for Tyron Smith, he's feeling bad about himself. But really, in all actuality, you got to get another tight end in there. I know you came into the game with a game plan, and the game plan, as it played out, was stupid. If you just felt like they just didn't have the athletes on the edge to be able to get to your quarterback, even though you have an insufficient line protection. And then to make matters worse, I heard Ryan Clark on the Sports Center at 6 show with Michael Smith. He says he knows, what is this boy's first name? Claiborne. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. He has a birth defect in which he's unable to lift his right arm past a certain point, which means he's only really able to do one thing in pass rushing, which is why you only 2 sacks. You know what I'm saying? It works out. But because no adjustments were ever made, the kid he was going against was so top heavy. And I'm watching this dude just head over toes. He's leaning forward. He's not sitting down. They teach offensive linemen to sit down and punch. He had none of that going on, man. He was done. He was donezo from the very beginning. You let a dude with one arm, essentially, just take your lunch. And not him, because there's a reason he's a backup and not a starter. Those coaches allowed that to happen. Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett, they allowed it to happen. They allowed the quarterback to be sacked and hit as many times as he was. And then the other part of that is when you don't run the football, a guy like that, you can help him out by running the football. But when the other team, no matter who it is, they know you're not going to run the football, it's to their advantage, exponentially, it's to their advantage. So my bigger point in that is talking as it refers to the people here, as I refer to the people in the city, they've got to have an understanding, a true understanding and a true evaluation of what they saw on Sunday. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, okay, you won the football game. But that whole nonsense about a win is a win is not a win. Unless, of course, you're going to always, every week from here on out, have the other team's best offensive player and their best offensive lineman out of the game. Well, if that's the case, well, yeah, then you about to go on a run. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. And then there's the owners, Jerry, Arthur, being children. Well, I don't know, because Jerry's threatening to sue Arthur Blank, so I wouldn't talk to Jerry Jones' ass either. But you in my house, dude. If I'm Arthur Blank, you in my house, you need to at least acknowledge me. You know what I'm saying? And my hospitality, that I don't have your ass sitting, you know what I'm saying, in regular seats. You enjoying my booth, my owner's box and all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jerry Jones is threatening to sue certain owners, the guys who are on the compensation committee, over Roger Goodell's impending, should be, they say it is, contract. A contract in which my man wants $50 million a year, with incentives and all that kind of stuff. He wants a private plane. Reportedly, he wants a private plane forever and health care for his entire family. I'm not sure if that means immediate or special cousins and whatever, for life. And that's where the negotiations are. $49.5 million. Now they want to come out like the NFL spokesperson saying that Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen are liars, or they getting bad information, or they just trying to put like a poison pill into what's happening. Whatever the case may be, my gosh, like I want to be in that number where you just start negotiating and your number is $49.5 million, not total, a year. Now, Jerry Jones wants that dude to have a contract like the players, a non-guaranteed situation where we could fire your ass at any at any moment. Which, yeah, I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying? If it's good enough for them, why not? Why can't it be good enough for you? The players work for the team owners, and so do you. You're kind of in that same position as them. B, you're an employee of the team owners. Let's never get that. I know a lot of people think he's the boss. He's not. He is an employee. They employ him. They put him in that position to be a human punching bag so they don't have to take the blows. And then I read this. I read it's craziness. Apparently there's a rule in which they could Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. They could Donald Sterling Jerry Jones. Some sort of nuclear option, that's a pretty fairly used word here lately because of what's happening in the government and whatnot. This says they could, in theory, attempt to trigger a forfeiture of the Dallas Cowboys. And as Jerry Jones is reading, as he reads this, he's thinking to himself, over my cold, dead body. There's no way that's happening. They issued him a cease and desist, telling him to back up off all this suing talk, back up off of it, or we might have to do something. Like, I never really feel like that works out well when you're talking about billionaire white boys, like somebody telling them or forcing them to do something. I just never feel like that works out very well, And maybe it's different when they are your contemporaries and they're doing this. So, what they're talking about comes from Article 8 of the NFL's Constitution and Bylaws, specifically Section 8.13, which authorizes the commissioner to determine that an owner, quote unquote, has been or is guilty of conduct detrimental to the welfare of the league or professional football. If the commissioner believes the available sanction, which is normally a $500,000 fine, is, quote unquote, not accurate or sufficient, the commissioner may refer the issue to the NFL's executive committee, which has the power to compel cancellation or forfeiture of the franchise in the league of any member club involved or implicated, end quote. With a directive to sell the team. That ain't never happened. Like everything that if Jerry Jones would have done the same thing that Donald Sterling did, that still wouldn't have happened. I mean, he kind of did. Like he said racist crap, and so has Bob McNair. I remember talking about this Donald Sterling stuff when I had my show on radio. That the owner of the Orlando Magic, he's straight up homophobic to the point like he's one of those lobbyist people who pay money to have laws enacted against gay marriage and things of that nature. Not a peep. It's just a matter. To me, it boils down to a matter of how much the people in charge like you and don't like you. That's what happened to Donald Sterling. I didn't think Donald Sterling should have been forced to sell his team. That don't mean I don't think Donald Sterling's a raging racist. I do. He's been one for a long, long time. And many of people who jumped on that bandwagon of, oh my God, I can't play for him. Elgin Baylor, who worked for this dude for like 30 years and was the most terrible GM in NBA history, damn near. All of a sudden, like, yeah, he's a terrible racist. One that didn't fire your black ass when he could have many a time and should have. You kept cashing them damn checks, but now because you telling his side bride that he don't want her messing with Magic and Matt Kemp, now everybody's racist. All right. Yeah, he's racist. He's a racist, slumlord, piece of crap. But not because of that. You know what I mean? That was just a convenient way of ridding yourself of a decades and decades and decades long problem. All right, last break for tonight's show. The Monday episode of the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker. The Spreaker app. Tune in. Appreciate you guys hanging in here on a Monday. Yeah. Let's take a break, come back. I want to talk about the NBA real quick, and then I'm going to get up out of here. I want to talk about Lonzo Ball, some of the other things that's been going on with the OKC Thunder. We got some LeBron. I don't think I'm going to talk about this LeBron drama. But to find out, stick around.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try.
He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Damn it. Apparently something's happened again. Now I'm restricted from posting in Facebook groups again. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. God, I want Facebook to just die and just burn in hell. Anyway, man, we got one segment left here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Appreciate y'all hanging out, man, here on Spreaker, the Spreaker app, and on TuneIn. You can catch the show on all of those formats on demand, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. I'm streaming live video on Facebook, so if you want to check that out, I'm at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE. You can also get involved in the show by messaging me there, or leaving your comments or whatever under the Facebook live stream. You can also text me at 404-902-8104, or jump on inside my live and interactive chat room here. Yes, my man I Am No Dose is in the building. For whatever reason, he's talking about Women Crush Wednesday on a Monday, and that it should be Demetria Obilor. Who is that? Is that somebody that I should know, or just somebody that you ran across being a perv on social media? Speaking of pervs, holy crap. This dude in Alabama is outstanding. Not him, but what's happening with him is outstanding. And if you're from Alabama, man, like, it's almost like Alabama is like 400 years in the past. Like, everyone else is moving in a different world than Alabama. Like, I heard this one dude apparently got interviewed by one of the CNN reporters at a convenience store in that small town that this dude is from. Roy Moore is from. That dude said that his man could have shot Obama and he still ain't voting for no damn Democrat. Like, how stupid is that? That's as dumb, if not dumber, than like that Bloods and Crips type stuff. Like, well, I just wear red and I wear blue, so now you got to die. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. This dude was on CNN today before I started the show. One of the panelists, Hispanic dude. I always laugh, chuckle to myself when Hispanic people love Donald Trump. I'm like, what? How? That dude was asked. She asked him the question a couple of different ways, and he was like, he humming and Millie mouthed about the question. So she said just finally, like, look, okay, so what I'm saying to you is, if the choices were between a pedophile and a Democrat, which one would you want in the Senate? That dude said, that's a hard choice. I was like, somebody need to clothesline his ass off the back of that chair right now. How is that a hard choice? You can tell me, would you rather a pedophile or a hippopotamus in the Senate? I'm picking the hippopotamus 10 out of 10 times, and 11 if you offer him. How is that a hard choice? Like, somebody need to go check his web history. That's like when like the murder suspect is in the interrogation room, and the police say to him, you know, what do you think should happen to a person who does something like this? And if that person says something like, I don't know, man, you might need to know all the facts first, and you know, maybe show him some mercy. That means your ass probably did it. Because the innocent person's like, if somebody did something like this, they need to burn in hell. They need to get prosecuted and put under the jail. Yeah, not showing sympathy for the person. Nah, that's, oh my God, these people, they wild, B. They wild. Oh, so yeah, this is exactly what it is. My man's being pervy on the internet. He says, go to Twitter or Instagram and look for Demetria. Is that Obilor? And you'll thank him. You guys will thank him later. I am no dose, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so the NBA was popping this weekend. The NBA been popping like almost every day, man, and I appreciate that. I have a lot of appreciation for what's happening in the National Basketball Association right now. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of things happening early that, you know, no one expected to happen. But it's fun watching them be kind of figured out. I don't know that this is necessarily the biggest thing, but this is the thing that's the most polarizing. Lonzo Ball, he went like, what did he go? Like 19, 13, and 10 or something like that. Triple-double against the Milwaukee Bucks this weekend. He became the youngest to ever record a triple-double, which for whatever reason, I don't know that it's necessarily as big a deal as people are making out to be, for a couple of reasons. The league is getting younger. Every year, the league is getting younger and younger and younger. You know, outside of the fact that guys are coming into the league, not coming to the league out of high school anymore, the league is still rather young. You know, guys are finding their way to college earlier. You know, they're doing this whole reclassification thing, graduating early and all this kind of stuff, you know, to be able to, you know, kind of circumvent the whole one and done thing. So this kid is 19. Which also tells you how much of a grown man LeBron James was, because LeBron James held the record by like 5 days before this. I'm not even sure this is necessarily a record. It just means your mom spit you out at a certain time, which, whatever. The other thing that, you know, I was talking about this last year when Russ was going for these triple doubles. I'm not a real big fan of like the assist. One, because it's a matter of perspective. You know, it's scored like how errors and things are scored in baseball. And also, it's like speaking of baseball, it's like an RBI. You know what I mean? It's like it's dependent upon another person doing something. For you to get an RBI, someone else had to get hit by a pitch or a walk or get a base hit themselves for you to be able to bat the run in. Same thing with an assist. Someone has to hit a shot. And it doesn't even matter how difficult the shot is. An assist doesn't have to be to a wide open a player which dunks the basketball. It could be somebody who just catches the ball and shoots over two contested arms and hits the shot. But on the other side of that, I believe that if an assist is a pass that leads to points, I don't know if that's the actual definition, but that's the way I define it, that whether it be 1 or 3 points, you should get an assist. Like if I pass the ball to somebody, if they get fouled and it's not an and one, if they hit one free throw and it gets my team 1 point, I should get an assist. but that's not how the rules go. And of course, if they start changing it now, a lot of things have to be recalculated, and ain't nobody trying to go through all that, I'm a guess. So it remains the way it is. So anyway, Lonzo Ball of LeVar Ball fame, still shooting 30%. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up. And he got banged on by the freak too. Oh, Giannis snatched, reaching his heart and in his chest and snatched his heart out. Yeah, ain't nobody talking about that, but I will. Cause that's what I come to see. That kind of stuff. That kind of just unadulterated, just nonsense and disrespect. That's what I come to see. But again, the whole Lonzo Ball thing is so polarizing. You know what I mean? That any little thing he does like this is going to become a big thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know that it necessarily should be based on what I was sold, the advertising that I was sold. Heard Magic on, I guess he was on Mike and Mike this morning. How is that show still around? I thought they canceled that show because they couldn't get along or something. Was those just rumors or something? Anyway, and maybe it's 2018. All that happens. I don't know. I don't pay it. I don't watch that show at all. But Magic, some of his comments that he made while he was on the show, I heard those. And he was talking about this kid's shot, which, by the way, I hate. I hate his jump shot. And the more that I see it in slow motion, I hate it even more. Like, how are you allowed? There should be like a rule against shooting the ball that way. Like, there's been some guys with some funky jump shots. Like, I always mention Sean Marion. I always mention, like, Reggie Miller had a real crazy release on his shot where his hands would cross on the release, which was real weird. But this thing that this kid does, my God, it is ridiculous. Oh, the Golic and Wingo show is what happens next year. Okay. Wow. They let these dudes play this thing out a long time for two dudes that couldn't get along with each other. Shout out to them. Shout out to them being professionals. Yeah, if it was me and another dude, we'd probably been in fault by now. But I guess them checks will keep you in line. So shout out to them. How much time I got? I got like 20 minutes. Good. All right. In other news, this is funny. I found this to be funny. Remember I was talking about how eventually some of these young dudes on the team are going to realize they're better than Lonzo Ball, and they're going to want, they want to get they shine on. They out there in LA, man. They want to get their shine on. Jordan Clarkson said something in an interview, and I don't know who the interview was. I saw it on Pro Basketball Talk, but they was asking him like where his motivation comes from. He was like, my fam, my dad, but like probably thirdly is these bras, these hoes, man. He didn't say that. That's my words saying that. But he said the ladies or the women or something of that nature. That he go out there, he try to show out so he can shine for the bras because he love women. His actual quote is, quote, I mean, my pops, my family, that's always number one. But secondly, probably the girls and stuff, females. Know what I mean? I love women. And he goes on to say they don't like you when you're down. Shout out to him. So that tells me, man, these dudes are very conscious about, the amount of attention they're getting. And they're young. And once they figure it out a little bit more and the pecking order kind of gets established within the locker room versus what it is outside the locker room or on ESPN or in the media or per LeVar Ball, yeah, I can already see that coming to a head real quick. You know what I'm saying? And it's only right. Because that's what the league is about. Ever since the days of Michael Jordan, it's more about the name on the back than it is the name on the front. Speaking of LeVar, I don't know if LeVar is still in China, but his son is, the second boy. Him and the other two cats, they still in China, man. And apparently, Agent Orange Trump, or Orange Ball, he was asked if he was going to step in on, I guess he tried to. He talked to, God, what is that dude's name? The president over there, Xi Jinping. I hope that it sounds funny because it sounds like I'm being racist. And so I hope I'm saying that at least a little bit right because it sounds like hella racist. But he asked his man. Yeah, that whole, look at me. Xi Jinping, Xijinping. Yeah, that's his name. So anyway, he asked him for help in dealing with the 3 UCLA basketball players arrested for shoplifting. He broached the subject in private during his visit. So it's basically him saying that he did, but I don't know if this necessarily confirmed. the Washington Post is reporting this. He's saying that President Xi or Jinping, I don't know how they do it over there, he promised to look into the case and said the players will be treated fairly. The U.S. official told the Post. That probably just means like, okay, we're not going to cane them and we're not going to hang them. They'll be alive. Don't worry about it. ESPN is saying that they can remain over there in Hangzhou. Damn, the name of the city is Hangzhou. That's, I don't know. But they could be over there for a week or two. Man. Oh, and also the other news that came out behind this is that apparently it wasn't just the one store. They got these dudes on camera going on a damn stealing spree in all these high-end stores, the Louis Vuitton and, stores like that. Oh, man, to be young and stupid, man. Like, I tell you all the time, like, it's hard for me to, like, remove myself totally and act like I have this 40-year-old mind, which really still ain't all the best, but it's better than my 18-year-old mind. But to act as though that I've had this mind as an 18-year-old and this would have never happened if it were me, I can't promise that. Because people do the things that they feel like they can get away with. You know what I mean? And these cats is over there, they see something they like, ain't nobody looking. Hey, man, swipe them joints. But for whatever reason, I guess they feel like China's too primitive to have, CCTV, like cameras everywhere. And they got all these dudes on camera, stealing boxes, getting fired on their day off. If you don't get the reference, hit stop on this episode right now, please. Before I get out of here, let me get the rest of these NBA stories out real quick. I mean, I got to go too quick. I told you guys earlier about the piece that Steph did in the Players Tribune. I definitely want to get into that here in just a second. But first, did y'all see the video? Yeah, check this video out, man. It's on my Facebook page if you want to see it, at One Mic with Big Mike. This dude, he's got to be light-skinned Satan, man. Or he must have made a deal with Satan or something, man. This dude kicked. He kicked a basketball from 70 feet away, all net. Like, we've seen him shoot a ball from that far and hit. He kicked the ball, and it went all net. Like, come on, man. Like, at some point, man, we gotta start looking into some ulterior universe type stuff, man. Because look at Big L's avatar. Big L's in the building. Checking in with a couple minutes left in the show, but it's all good. Appreciate you hanging in, checking in, homie. He got the University of Miami avatar on his joint. The homie from Arkansas, big University of Miami fan. How you love that? Nah, I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude. Like people who do that, I think are weirdos. They're like, how you a Cowboys fan and you from Opelika? I mean, easily, I own a television. You know what I mean? It's pretty much that simple. I've owned a television for the majority of my life, and I've been able to see more than the Buccaneers play football, or whatever. Yeah, this piece by Steph Curry, that really spoke to me. You bet on Notre Dame? You bet money on Notre Dame? Like, I'm not saying that was a bad, pick if you was, picking, damn. Y'all better than me, man. See, that's the other thing about you fans, you sports fans. You guys are weirdos, man. You like to put your money on things that you can't control. Like, if I'm putting my money on something, it's going to be on me. Like I'm going to get in the fight with Big L. I'm going to put the money on me because at least I have some semblance of control. Not sure that I'll win the fight, but at least I'm in the fight. It's me that's fighting. You know what I mean? Anyway, you guys are freaking distracting me from this Steph Curry thing, and it's good. It's good to me. Because he's talking about all the stuff that goes on around Veterans Day and people with their patriotism, or what they call the patriotism. And he said something that you guys have heard me say many times before, man. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than just saying, thank you for your service. That reflexive reaction that you have when you see somebody in uniform or whatever. He talks about meeting a guy at his wife's restaurant opening. They got plenty of bread, dude. Restaurants are terrible business decision for most people because they fail so easily. But Steph got so much bread. He can just hit his wife off with a restaurant or whatnot. You know what I mean? She got her Food Network, show. I remember turning through the channel one time, through the guide, and I saw Aisha's Kitchen, something like that. I was like, damn, because I watch the Food Network all the time. And I was like, Aisha, that sounds like a black name. I turned it, ain't nobody but Steph Curry wifey on there cooking something or the other. I ain't stick around to see what she was cooking, but I just figured it was a black chick. I thought she was gonna be cooking some, me, I'm Negro to my heart, some soul food or something, but it wasn't that. It was like some couscous muffins, something weird like that. But anyway, he meets this guy named Michael at his wife's restaurant opening, and they started up a conversation. Michael is a vet, and they talk about some of the issues. They talk about some of the issues that veterans actually go through, and that the fact that less than 1% of the population actually served in the military. So this guy makes the point that it makes it very difficult for them to actually have a political constituency and a voice politically, because it's such a small number, and people are so quick to make themselves feel better by saying thank you for your service. Not, did you think about killing yourself today? How's that PTSD doing? Are you homeless? You dig? Because these are the real things that they're going through. He talks about this whole thing, support our troops, and it not just being about saluting or thanking them for their service. They need things like medical services, like adequate medical services, access to jobs, readjusting society. Some of the most the most stupid stuff I've ever heard, man. Like if somebody goes and risk their life to fight for this country, and they got like loved ones or a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, wifey, you know what I'm saying? There's no way in hell that person's spouse should have to worry about keeping that roof over their head. There's no way. Because I'm telling you, I don't want somebody in a war zone that has to still worry about, is my baby gonna be homeless? But I think now they've done things where they put like a hold on people's mortgages and all that kind of stuff. But like, why did that have to be like a secondary thought? These people could die. They could never come back. Just like this dude, what's the kid's name? LaDavid? They didn't find out this dude was probably captured and tortured and executed. And they're not telling his wife nothing. I saw her on TV after that whole stuff with Trump and them telling her that she couldn't see her husband, that all it was to her was a box. She had no way of even knowing what was in the box. If anything was in there, the coffin is what she called the box. If anything was in there at all. Come on, B. It's like that Pat Tillman stuff. Like they run around here calling Pat Tillman a damn hero all the damn time. But they tend to leave out the fact that he died from bullets that were fired from the people he was serving with. And then the military and the government tried to cover it up. That's how the heroism came about. He died in combat. Nope. His people shot him and killed him. If you ever want to see something very, very hilarious, that probably shouldn't be, but it is, Google Pat Tillman's funeral or Pat Tillman's brother at his funeral. Oh, it's one of the most pure, just comedic things that isn't supposed to be funny. Like my man shows up at the funeral. He got on like some tore up ass jeans and a white tee, and he's hammered drunk, going the F off on anything like Sarah Palin and what's the kid's name? Who was Sarah Palin running with? The war hero, the Maverick dude from the senator from Arizona. You know who I'm talking about, John McCain. And they up there talking about, Pat's in a better place right now. My man got up on the mic. He was like, F all that. Pat's dead. He didn't go anywhere. He didn't believe in that garbage. I'm like, what's happening? Yeah, if you've never seen that, Google it. Pat Tillman's brother at his funeral. It is hilarious. So anyway, Steph goes on to talk about other issues like homelessness, unemployment, mental health, racial inequality. This is something that black soldiers have gone through forever and ever. There's a documentary on PBS, or was on PBS. It's narrated by by Halle Berry. And they talk about the life of a black soldier in this country, man, going all the way back to the Revolutionary War, man. World War I, World War II, bruhs being lynched in their military uniforms after they then came back from almost getting their asses shot off fighting for this damn country. Coming back to that vile racism and surviving war, but not surviving American racism. My dude, pictures of cats being lynched around crowds of white people in their uniforms. That's why I laugh anytime somebody tell me how ungrateful I am for saying I don't give a damn about this country. I just live here. You know what I'm saying? People who look like me were dropped off or brought here to build this thing many, many years ago. And, my folks just never left. There was nowhere to go back to. So I just live here. All this pride and I'm so fortunate to be an American. Yeah, I'm as fortunate as a kidnap victim. You know what I mean? Like, no, get out of here. So anyway, it's called The Noise by Steph Curry on the Players Tribune, playerstribune.com. And he talks about being an outspoken athlete, saying if I'm going to use my platform, I want to use it to talk about real issues that are affecting real people. I want to use it to shine a spotlight on the things that I care about. Oh, boy, you know who hates this? Mr. Respect My Flag hates that. So, finally, he just wraps it up by saying, let's celebrate our veterans by having a conversation about the actual ways that we as civilians can or as their fellow Americans they fought to protect, can hold up our end of the bargain. Let's talk about the broken VA medical system. My man Big L just mentioned that here in my chat room. The traumatic brain injuries, yes, because I was reading this article in National Geographic. And he talked about how the CTC that we talk about in football players is hella prevalent in soldiers. And they talk about it. What happens is when these guys are not even around explosions, but when these explosions go off, the air shakes. And when these waves go through the air, they hit your body and they shake your body. Even if you don't know it, it shakes your body, which in turn shakes your brain, which causes a form of head trauma, even though your head hasn't hit anything. So, yes, Steph Curry is absolutely right. The brain injuries, the PTSD, he said, let's talk about how homelessness and unemployment and mental health, and yes, even racial equality. Let's talk about how we can do better to make their lives easier. Shout out to Steph Curry, man. Shout out to this dude, man, not just being, a puppet within the system, man, not just being, the light-skinned devil that I call him. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he shoots the basketball, I don't believe any human being should be able to shoot the basketball that way and do the things he does with a basketball without making a deal with Satan. You know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, man, everything he's saying is right, man. That all that, thank you for your service. Like, I'm going to be real. The reason I say thank you for your service, because I know there's nowhere in the hell I could do it. Like, I'm from a place in America called Decatur, Georgia. And when we hear gunshots, we don't go towards them. We go away. And I don't give a damn how much military training you give me. That's not going to leave my system, because I've already been trained in that way. You know what I'm saying? So the people who are able to fix their mind in a way that says, you know what, I'm going to go do this job, and this job may cost me my life, and I know this going in. I'm going to do it anyway. I got much respect for him, man. Now, that's not something that doesn't give you impunity. Like, there's many times on Facebook or whatever, I argue with an MFer that was in the military. If he come at me on some racist stuff about some damn flag and some song, I don't give a damn how much you serve when it comes to that. You can still be a dumbass and me appreciate your service. Like, those two things can stand independent of one another. Trust me, I know how to compartmentalize. Not like these dumbasses that are running this country. Well, I mean, you can't question a 3-star general or whatever this dude is. And everybody was like, wait a minute, why not? We in North Korea or something? What's happening? Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, they don't, like, you being in the military don't give you some sort of magical cloak of impunity. But yeah, I appreciate you going, so I don't have to go. I'm just going to keep it real. I'd make a terrible soldier. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'd make a terrible soldier. Talking about getting captured and all that. I give away all the secrets, everything. I've been gave Al Qaeda every little bit of secret I have in my head. You don't want to tell me nothing. For this country? Shoot, you must be crazy. I probably need to stop talking now, right? Before the damn, the Patriot Act. Next thing I know, it'll be some black cars outside my door thinking I'm getting radicalized around this piece. I shouldn't even be joking about that, probably, huh? Whatever, man. Screw America, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, man, I gotta get off this microphone. Gonna make a little bit of money here. Appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Big L, I am No Doze. I'm trying to find the names here. Tom, Calmelia on Facebook. You guys, appreciate y'all hanging out. Everybody who hears the show on demand. I still get so many more listens on demand than I do. I'm thinking about, you know what? You're an idiot. Am I? Hell no. Because you know what? The job description, it just don't fit my skill, my skill type. You know what I mean? That whole like you gotta die too thing. Nah, I'm good. Or you gotta go to jail. No. That's the first thing that's gonna get me kicked out of Al Qaeda or whatever, ISIS or whatever. They start talking about, well, Big Mike, you gotta go strap a bomb to your chest and wait, whoa, to my chest? Yeah, I gotta go ahead and resign, pimp. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my 2 minute notice right now. I'm out. Nah, hell no. Anyway, I'll be back on Wednesday, man. I got a new fantasy guy joining me on Wednesday because my man Rob Brimwood forgot his wife's birthday. Shout out to him because I'm always in that boat. And so he's passing me off to another cat on Wednesday. So we'll be back to do that for fantasy football. Don't forget to tell everybody you know, man. The show is available. The One Mic with Big Mike show. You can catch it on demand on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in. One Mic with Big Mike. On iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. While I'm not here, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Till Wednesday, man. Y'all be safe. Take care of each other. And remember, all you need is one mic.